Hi there, welcome to That Board Game Show. My name is James Wood, and today I'm going to show you a solo playthrough of Pandemic. Do you have what it takes to save humanity? As skilled members of a disease-fighting team, you must keep 4 deadly diseases at bay while discovering their cures. You and your teammates will travel across the globe, treating infections while finding resources for cures. You must work together, using your individual strengths to succeed. The clock is ticking as outbreaks and epidemics fuel the spreading plagues. Can you find all 4 cures in time? The fate of humanity is in your hands. In Pandemic, you and your fellow players are members of a disease control team. You must work together to develop cures and prevent disease outbreaks before 4 deadly diseases contaminate humanity. Pandemic is a cooperative game. The players all win or lose together. The goal is to discover cures for all 4 diseases. The players lose if 1. 8 outbreaks occur, a worldwide panic happens. 2. Not enough disease cubes are left when needed, a disease spreads too much. Or 3. Not enough player cards are left when needed. Your team runs out of time. Each player has a specific role with special abilities to improve his team's chances. First thing we need to do is infect 9 cities. Let's get on with that. So 3 cubes in Chennai. Down here, Ho Chi Minh City gets 3. 1, 2, 3 red cubes show up in Ho Chi Minh. We have diseases in Washington, D.C. Washington over here. And now for 2s, slightly less severe cases are in Beijing and in Kinshasa and in Tehran. And then almost mild, where's Tehran? There's Tehran. Almost mild, but still concerning cases show up in Istanbul, Taipei, and Essen. Okay, so that is the initial setup. In the solo game, I control 3 roll cards, and I have a hand of 3 cards in front of me. And these 3 cards over here are what's called the archive. There's no limit to the number of cards that can be here. I have a limit of 7 cards that I can hold in my hand. I can do 4 actions, then I will draw 2 cards, and then I will infect cities. So let's just dive in and I'll show you what the different actions are as I do them. Each of these roles has unique special abilities, which I will also get to as they become relevant. So the scientist can do up to 4 actions. So the first thing I think we need to do is we'll move over here to Washington for 1. That's 1 action to move across one of these connected cities from one city to another. 2 actions to treat the disease, which means take the cube off. Let's fly, another action. So you can spend an action to fly, which means you take a card that's in your hand, you discard it, and now you can fly to that city. So I can fly directly to Karachi. For 4, before I leave Washington, I will treat 1 more. Okay, that's the scientist's turn. We now draw 2 cards. Bangkok and Bogota. So now it is the medic's turn. The medic has a pretty cool ability, so let's show you how that works. So first thing we need to do is we need to get medic over to this side of the world where things are problematic. Bangkok or Jakarta, let's fly into Bangkok, I think. So we'll discard the Bangkok card from our hand, and the medic can now fly. Boom, straight into Bangkok. The next thing he can do is move to a connected city. So let's move him 1 over there to Chennai. Now for 2, when the medic treats diseases, let's just show you the medic up close. When the medic treats a disease, he removes all the cubes of the same color from that location. So instead of just removing one little cube, he removes all 3 of these. Haha! He is amazing. Superman medic. And I believe that was his 4th action. He flew to Bangkok for 1, he moved to Chennai for 2, he treated for 3. Let's move down to Jakarta for 4, and then he can come up to Ho Chi Minh later and attend to that. Whoopsie, I forgot something. At the end of the scientist's turn, I was meant to infect cities. Step 3 of a turn is infect cities. So we draw 2 cards. So Riyadh gets 1. And Bangkok. Where is Bangkok? We were just in Bangkok. Gets 2. And that would have happened before the medic's turn. So I think what the medic would have done, rather than moving down to Jakarta, he would have stayed there and cured that. So now the medic has just finished his turn. We now draw 2 cards from the player deck. And we get an action card. Action cards are awesome. They say, you'll see there, it says play any time, not an action. So any player can hold this card and play it at any time on any other player's turn, or even their own. And what this one lets us do is skip the next infect cities step. So the step I just did, the next step I'm about to do now, is to infect cities. If we don't want to do that, if things are a bit too out of control, we can play this card and we can buy ourselves some time. That was the first card. Let's draw a second card and we get another yellow card. These cards represent research. This represents our research of these given diseases. Once we have enough research, once we have 5 cards of the same color, once we have 5 research points, we can take that research back to the CDC, which is in Atlanta, hand in those cards, and that's how you cure the diseases. We're not quite there yet, and the scientist has the special ability of only needing 4 cards to cure a disease. The reason I bring all that up now, even though we're not quite ready to cure a disease, is you can see here there's actually 4 red cards available to us, but these ones aren't in our hands. These are in the archive. These ones we have to go to Manila, Beijing, and Hong Kong to collect that research. So we know that research is out there. We've had reports, we've got field teams out there in the world gathering research on all these diseases. And now we need to go. One of us has to physically go to Manila, Beijing, and Hong Kong, and we can collect that information. So at the moment, we've collected information from Lagos, Bogota, Khartoum, and Jakarta. Once we have enough research of any given disease, we can go back and cure it. That's how we win the game. We need to cure all 4 of these diseases. But we're not quite there yet. So let's see, that was the 2 cards for the medic's turn. We now need to infect 2 cities, unless we play One Quiet Night, which I won't do now, because I don't think we need to. So Shanghai has some cases pop up, and Miami has some cases pop up. And now we move on to the dispatcher's turn. Okay, dispatcher, what are you going to do? Dispatcher has also got a special ability, which allows him to move other players as if it were his. So he can move these other pawns around the map. You can get them to where they need to be. Another very interesting thing is he can fly one pawn to another one. So anywhere on the map, he can fly, so he can fly himself or anyone to wherever anyone else is. So those are his special abilities. So where do we need people to be? I think we need the medic to be in Ho Chi Minh. And what I think we actually need to do is, just like I said, we can pull cards out of here. We can also put cards into the archive. Remember I said that we have a hand limit of 7 cards. So if we ever draw past 7 cards, we have to just discard cards. They're useless, basically. So what we could maybe do is we could put these red cards into the archive and then pull them back out when we're closer, because at the moment we've got a handful. We've got lots of yellow cards in our hands. We need to be drawing yellow cards. So the dispatcher is going to move the medic. It's going to tell the medic, you know what, look, medic, there's cases in Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh is a hotspot. We've got big problems there. You know, we need your services. 1, 2, movement to get into Ho Chi Minh. Now he can't treat. You know, the dispatcher can't use another player's abilities. He can just move them. And for 3, we're going to move the scientist up there. And 4, he's got a 4th action. What should he do with his 4th action? He will just move over into Washington, and then he'll be able to treat that when it flares up again later. Okay, dispatcher is done. Draw 2 cards. 1, it's a black card. That's not helpful. And 2, epidemic. There's our first epidemic card. There are 4 of these in the deck. And these are how things escalate. Okay, so you'll see the first thing that says there is increase. Move the infection rate marker forward 1 space. So we move this marker forward 1 space. We're currently drawing 2 cards at the end of every turn. We'll continue to draw 2 cards. Once we've drawn our 3rd epidemic card, we start drawing 3 cards at the end of every turn. Next thing we do is infect. We draw the bottom card from the infection deck and put 3 cubes on that city, then discard that card. So we pick up this deck over here. We take the bottom card, flip that over, and that is Jakarta. Jakarta is a hotspot now. Oh gosh, that is bad. Okay, Jakarta is in trouble. We have big problems in that neck of the woods. Okay, so now, because the next thing we're going to do is we are going to intensify. We take the discard pile of infection cards and we put it on top of the deck. And that goes out of the game. So we take this deck, which is all these cities that have already come up. We give it a good shuffle. And now we're going to start reinfecting the cities that have already been infected. Okay, we'll call that shuffled. And we put it on top of the deck. Righto, that was my 2nd card. I do not draw a replacement. I now infect cities. We're still infecting 2. Washington has some more cases pop up. And Beijing has some more cases pop up. Woo, my word. Okay, we're going to get on top of these red cubes. That was the end of the dispatcher's turn. Over to the scientist. Let's see, scientist, what are you going to do? We have potential outbreaks over here. If ever you would put a 4th cube in a city, that city outbreaks, which I'll explain as and when it happens. So we've got 2 potential outbreaks sitting here, because both of those cards we know are in this deck now. Coming up pretty soon, probably. So I think what we need the scientist to do is get down there and treat stuff. So what we could do is we could move to Delhi and then fly there. That might be a good idea, because then we're keeping the red cards that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4. But no. No, we've got outbreaks waiting to happen here. So what I'm going to rather do is I'm going to spend Jakarta. Discard this card. That's rather annoying. And the scientist is going to fly straight into Jakarta. 1. Treat 1 cube only, because she doesn't have the medic's wonderful ability. That's 2, 3 to move into Ho Chi Minh, and 4 to remove that one. So now we've got those cities under control. Now we can use the medic to do some cleanup. You know, he can get rid of all the others. Okay, we now draw 2 cards. 1. More black cards, really. And 2. Haha. Oh, that's exciting. We now have 4 yellow cards. This is fantastic. Now we just need to get the scientist to a research station and we can cure yellow. That is what we want to do. Okay, so I'm just going to set those aside for a minute. So we need to get our scientists to a research station. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. These event cards do count towards your hand limit. Okay, so that is her 2 cards. We now infect 2 cities. Riyadh has some more cases pop up. And Essen has some more cases pop up. Okay, medic, you're up. Medic. The medic is going to treat. We're going to get these under control. 1, 2, 3. And then should maybe head up this way and we can start getting rid of some of these black cards. Let's just go 4. Because then he can, actually we'll go 4. Okay. So now he's kind of just there and we can send him off either to start attending to the black over there or start attending to the red over there. I draw 2 cards for the end of the medic's turn. 1, it's another event. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have too many cards now. So let's play this forecast. Instead of discarding cards, what you can do is you can play cards. So I'm going to play this forecast card to get myself down to 7 cards. And that's going to let me look at the top 6 cards of the infection pile and put them back in any order. That's pretty useful. So that goes over there. We draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. And look at them. And now we can decide which order these are going to pop up in. So we can stack the deck a little bit. So we can see that Bangkok and Shanghai, Istanbul, Tehran's a bit annoying, so let's put that right at the bottom. Kinshasa is also rather unfortunate, so let's bury that, and then those others I don't really mind. So we'll just put those back on top of the deck. So now we know what's coming up. We know there aren't any major problems on the horizon. That was the first card. Second card is another black card. I could just play, actually I think is what I will do. I'm just going to play One Quiet Night, even though we don't really need to. We're just going to buy ourselves some time. I'm going to play that one. So we're still back down to our 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we do not draw infection cards for the medic's turn. Okay, now it is the dispatcher's turn. So what we were going to do, we were going to go 1, 2 actions to treat the blue disease in Washington. I'm going to go 3 and then pull the scientist for 4 using our dispatcher's amazing special ability of being able to move any pawn to any other pawn. So now our scientist is ready to take care of yellow. So now the dispatch is done. Draw 2 cards. 1. And we'd be ready to cure black as well, but we can't hold 8 cards. Oh, bothersome. Okay, actually, I think we're going to rather cure black. Black, I think, is a bigger problem than yellow. So let's cure black. We will discard Bogota. And we draw another card. And it's another yellow card, Johannesburg. Yeah, we'll just discard that. Okay, now we draw 2 cards because we don't have One Quiet Night anymore. Istanbul. And Miami. Okay, now it is the scientist's turn. The scientist only needs 4 cards to discover a cure. So we've gathered research from Delhi, Riyadh, Baghdad, and Chennai. We hand in this research, discard those cards, and we now cure the black disease. Huzzah! Look at us go. We now have a cure in the bag for black. And now, anytime the medic simply moves into a city with black cubes in it, they just disappear. They are scared of him. The black disease is now instantly treated every time the medic moves into a space. So all he has to do is walk through here. And that works even if the dispatcher moves him. Okay, so black is now cured. That was our scientist's first action. Let's put our second action. Let's just go down to Miami and attend to some stuff. So let's go 2, 3, 4. Just do some good old treatment, shall we? Okay, so now we draw 2 cards. 1. Haha! There is a cure for yellow pretty much in the bag. 2. And a black card, which we can now use freely to fly around or build research stations, etc. Okay, so that is that. Now we draw 2 cards to infect some more cities. Bangkok gets another one. And Shanghai gets another one. Okay, it is now the medic's turn. Medic, you're up. Where are you going to go? So we could just go and attend to these black ones. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Simply moving in there clears it because it's cured. 4, he'll move over to Cairo. Then we're going to draw 2 cards. We've got Paris. Okay, good. We need to start working on some blue cards. And Shanghai. Okay, but now we infect some more cities. Kinshasa gets a QB. And Tehran gets a QB. Now we're up on the dispatcher's turn. Okay, now the dispatcher is going to do something pretty awesome. The dispatcher is going to move the medic 3 spaces. 1, and those get treated immediately. 2, 3, and those get treated immediately. And now notice, there's no black cubes on the board. And we have cured black. Now we take the black marker and we flip it over. That now represents black being eradicated. We have wiped this disease off the face of the planet completely. So now in future, when we draw black cards, nothing happens. We have wiped out the black disease. That is really exciting. So that was 1, 2, 3. 4, we'll move the scientist. So all of this is the dispatcher. The dispatcher is just sending out work, just sending out communications and just getting people moving, getting them where they need to be. So we sent off the medic, he treated a bunch of stuff. Now we've pulled the scientist back, so we are ready to cure yellow. And that is that. That is 4 actions. Let's draw 2 cards. 1, another red one, but now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have too many cards. Let's discard this black one. We don't really care about those anymore. Okay, and 2 is another red card. Okay, actually, we can afford to discard red cards because we've got a whole bunch in the archive over there. So let's discard Tokyo. Tokyo is not going to be very helpful to us. Okay, and now the scientist has a turn, and would you look at that? It is the scientist's turn. We have 4 points of research for the yellow disease. We can hand those in. And we can cure yellow. Haha! Okay, that was 1 action. First action for the scientist has cured yellow. We are halfway there. And look down here. If we can get down to Kinshasa and treat that, then we can eradicate yellow as well. That would be awesome. But I don't know that we can do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the scientist off towards here so that we can start pulling some of these red cards out, and then we can be ready to cure red. So that was the first action. Second action, let's go 2, 3, and then we'll fly. You may not be able to see that very clearly, but there's these little lines on the board which connect the opposite sides of the world together. Because remember, the world isn't flat. There's ocean here. So we can fly from San Francisco to Tokyo or Manila. We will fly to Manila, because then we can pull that Manila card straight out of the archive. But I think that's it. That was 1, 2, 3, and then 4 to cure yellow. We did not draw cards at the end of the dispatcher's turn to infect cities. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. So this is drawing cards for the dispatcher's turn. Chennai, haha, is eradicated. And then Ho Chi Minh is not eradicated. Okay, now it's the scientist's turn. We draw 2 cards. Well, end of the scientist's turn. 2 cards here. 1, 2. And infect 2 cities. 1, Jakarta, and 2, Taipei. So it's now the medic's turn. Okay, medic, what do we want you to do? We could shoot him off to this red section here and try to pull some of these cards out so that the scientist is ready to go. So the medic is going to fly. We're going to discard Taipei. We're going to fly, not Taipei. What am I doing? We're going to discard Shanghai. And we're going to fly straight into Shanghai. We'll move to Beijing for 3. Treat there, and he wipes out all the cubes. And 4, we'll pull this Beijing card out of the archive. Now, on the scientist's turn, the scientist is already in Manila, so he can just pull out the Manila card and then move up to Hong Kong and pull out the Hong Kong card. Or hopefully we just draw a red card. That would be awesome. Okay, let's draw cards. We've got airlift. Move any 1 pawn to any city. So that's pretty useful. That just hangs around. We can play that anytime we want. And our next card is red. Haha! Well, there we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, that was 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, draw 2 cards here. Milan. Milan gets 1 little blue cube. And Madrid gets 1 little blue cube. Okay. Dispatcher, you're up. I have a plan how we can get those and we can get stuff ready to go. I'm going to fly the dispatcher straight into Hong Kong. So discard the airlift. Chopper comes in and grabs the dispatcher. Straight to Hong Kong. Free action. That didn't cost anything. First action, we're going to pull Hong Kong out of the deck. Second action, the dispatcher is going to play Hong Kong to build a research station. Third action, we'll move over to Bangkok, and fourth action, we'll just treat that. Okay, now we draw 2 cards. A black card, that's not very helpful. And that is our 7. And an epidemic. Okay, that's our second epidemic, so we increase. Move the infection marker up 1 space. We're still only drawing 2 cards, fortunately. We infect. We draw the bottom card of the deck. And put 3 cards, 3 cubes in Seoul. Which is not terrible, because our medic is right there. Okay, and then intensify. This is where it gets tricky. We take the discard pile, shuffle it, and put it back on top of the deck. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Back on top of the deck. Okay, and that was the 2 cards for the dispatcher. We now infect 2 cities. We infect Chennai, but remember, we eradicated the black disease. Haha. And we infect Ho Chi Minh City. Not so good. Now it is the scientist's turn. Move that little pawn over to there. We are going to grab this manila card for 1, pull that out of the archive. But now we have too many cards, so we'll just discard Moscow. We don't need that black card. 2, we are going to move to Hong Kong. And 3, we are going to discard this research. We have now gathered research sufficiently for the red disease to cure it. Haha! Look at that. We just need to draw 1 blue card. We need to research 1 more blue city, 1 more point of research, and we will have won this game. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3. Let's go 4 over there. I think the scientist is actually just going to stay in Hong Kong. Not going to use that 4th action. So now, draw 2 cards. Be blue, be blue. Oh, not blue. Oh, it is a government grant, which lets us build a research station anywhere we want. That's pretty useful. And 2, there's another event. Remove any 1 card from the infection discard pile. That's pretty useful. Resilient population. 1 city in the world suddenly all develops immunity to this mysterious disease that is ravaging them. Okay, well that didn't actually help. We need some blue cards. Oh well, let's go, whoopsie. Let's infect some cities. Let's infect Milan, gets 1. And Seoul, oh no! Dun dun dun! This is our first outbreak. You see here, there's 3 cubes there. We now have our first outbreak. So we move the outbreak marker down 1. It's actually pretty amazing to get this far into the game with only 1 outbreak. And now, we don't put a 4th cube in Seoul. What we do is we put a cube in Tokyo, a cube in Beijing, and a cube in Shanghai. And now we look in the discard pile, and we see that Shanghai could also be a potential outbreak. Now it is the medic's turn. Okay, medic. But we have cured red. So look what happens. Automatically remove cubes of a cured disease. So technically, that cube doesn't even show up in Beijing. Okay, so now the medic just has to go walkies. So he has to walk into Seoul, 1, and they all disappear. Whoop. Let's go to Tokyo for 2, and that disappears. And we'll go to Shanghai for 3, and those disappear. And we'll go to Taipei for 4, and those disappear. How's about that? Look at what you can do when you have a cure for a disease. The things that are possible. It is marvelous. Draw 2 cards. There's our 4th blue card. That's it. The game is pretty much in the bag. Because I just need to survive to the scientist's turn. Istanbul. Doesn't really matter. How many cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, don't have to discard anything just yet. We've got this blue research building up. We're pretty much there. Okay, dispatcher's turn. You know what? Let's just eradicate. Oh, hang on. I'm forgetting to do things. Taipei. Whoop. And now the medic's there, so that just goes away. And Riyadh. Riyadh. Ooh, Riyadh is eradicated. So we do not place that black cube. We are now going to do something rather exciting. We're just going to use all the dispatcher's movement actions to move the medic. So the medic is going to go 1, 2, and those get cleared. 3, and that gets cleared. And we just eradicated red. Ha! Draw 2 cards. 1. Well, now we've got 5 cards. Now anyone could cure the blue disease. And 2, that's too many cards now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just discard those 2 because they do not matter. Infect Kinshasa. Uh-oh, another outbreak. Okay, cube there, cube there, cube there. You put them in each connected city. And our second card is Beijing, but it doesn't happen because we eradicated red. Ha! It is now the scientist's turn. We have we actually have 5 cards. We have more than enough research gathered to cure the blue disease. And we just won. Good job, team. You did amazing work. You eradicated red, you eradicated black, you cured yellow and blue, both of which were pretty close to getting eradicated if I could just, fly around and have a few more turns to deal with that. So there you have Pandemic, played with the solo variant. The rules I used today are available to download from the Z-Man Games website. It's just a 2-page PDF of the adjustments needed to make it playable solo. You can even just play regular Pandemic solo, just with the regular rules. You just control 2 characters and have 2 hands of cards. But that should give you a really good idea of how Pandemic plays, a really good sense of the game. That was playing on easy, I should say. So you see I only drew, what did I draw? I only drew 2 Epidemic cards that entire game. So there should be 2 more. There we go. There's 1 more. And there's the other one. So that was playing on easy by only putting 4 of these in the deck. So they're pretty well spaced out. You have a fair amount of time between each one. For a standard game, you put 5 Epidemic cards in the deck. Or if you're feeling really brave, you can add another one and put 6 Epidemic cards in the deck. So that's how you can gauge the difficulty. You can ramp it up or down. Also, playing with this particular team of characters was particularly good. They were very, very helpful. They really synergized well. Having the scientist to be able to, need that 1 less card can really make all the difference. The medic being able to just wipe diseases off the board really helps you keep the outbreaks at bay. And the dispatcher being able to just push people around is really quite helpful. There are 7 roles in total in the base game. These are just 3 of them. And you may notice that I've got these little plastic trays and this additional color over here. Those are both from one of the expansions. So you can add a 5th disease that you have to attend to. And that expansion also came with these little dishes to store your cubes in. So there you have a successful, albeit easy mode game of Pandemic, with my scientist, my medic, and my dispatcher absolutely shining. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show.